Hey guys, what's happening? Niyat here with Film Comics Explained, and as requested, today we'll be exploring Agent 47, the assassin clone with a penchant for stylish suits and completing missions with an incomparable ruthless efficiency. Featured as an anti-hero protagonist of all the Hitman video games developed by IO Interactive, a few comics published by Dynamite Entertainment, and 2 live-action films, 47 was a genetically enhanced assassin clone for hire created from the DNA of 5 criminal masterminds. In the extended series, Agent 47's typical attire would consist of a black suit, black leather gloves, a white dress shirt, and a red tie. But since the games allowed players the option of engaging in stealth-based strategy to avoid conflict, 47 also had the ability to exchange his clothes with those of the various characters in the game he would incapacitate to avoid detection. In addition to clothing, Agent 47's distinctive choice of weaponry plays an important role in his appearance. Throughout the franchise, his signature weapon is a pair of silver customized AMT hardballers, a clone of the M1N11 nicknamed Silverballers, and his arsenal also included his fiberwire Black Garrett, which appeared in every game in the series. Although he is the protagonist, his years of experience have made him infamous in the criminal underworld as a cold professional killer not to be trifled with. Employed by the International Contract Agency to carry out hits for their wealthy clients, his efficiency and his 100% success rate has made him the ICA's most superior assassin and a strategically valued asset that brought in more money for the agency than any other hitman.
Welcome to Paris, 47. The show is just about to start. This is the red carpet event of the season, and the guest list is a veritable who's who of the global fashion elite. Now, event security will keep a watchful eye on any suspicious activity, but I trust your timeless look shall fit right in. Good luck, 47.
Standing at a height of 6'2" and weighing 187 pounds, the Hitman featured a long face, large cheekbones, a prominent brow, a recessed forehead, and ice blue eyes as a result of the mixed DNA taken from 5 different men across the world that were used to create him. His imposing, unique, and non-specific facial features also enabled the Hitman to blend in wherever his missions took him. While the series shows 47 to be a relatively emotionless assassin, he does show signs of morality, which I'll discuss later in the video. His absolute highest priority is completing his contract, and 47 will not show any hesitation or remorse when it comes to killing or silencing witnesses and other potential threats to his mission, although it remains a part of his dedication to professionalism to avoid any collateral. He appears to be emotionally closed off to the suffering of others when appropriate for a contract, and he rarely raises his voice, choosing to speak in a calm and relaxed manner at all times. Despite the fact that he's fairly reserved, when speaking to another person, he can perfectly fool and manipulate people with convincing lies and bluffs, and mask his true intentions with little effort, as one of his many strengths was being an expert conversationalist, which fed into the stealth aspect of his methods. In addition to this, he can blend into a crowd and adapt his personality to suit any situation, and play the role of another person with the utmost efficiency and credibility. 47 is content with being alone, but has a deep, if unexpressed, admiration for the few people he becomes close to, especially his handler Diana Burnwood, Emilio Vittorio, and a young woman named Victoria he is charged with protecting during his career. Agent 47 also shows uncharacteristic sensitivity towards animals that he keeps as pets, such as a rabbit and a mouse he'd found in the asylum during his childhood, as well as a yellow canary in Hitman Blood Money, though he is forced to kill it in a cutscene before Requiem in order to avoid giving his position away. Given his exorbitant fees, Agent 47 would have to be a multi-millionaire from his contract earnings, and he only seems to spend his money on simple things like food, nice suits, gear, and shelter. Although he is also known to donate some of his money to charity, alluding to his hidden but present compassionate side. Referred to in the series as the Five Fathers, the 5 men whose DNA had been used to create 47 and others like him, all hailed from various countries, but they all served in the same unit of the French Foreign Legion, before 4 of them, including Li Hong, Pablo Ochoa, Franz Fuchs, and Akrihid Jegorov, returned home to build their own criminal empires, with the remaining member, Dr. Otto Wolfgang Ortmeyer, choosing to run a mental institution, which he used as a cover for genetic experimentation. In exchange for funding his research, Meyer provided his former comrades with donor organs harvested from the clones he'd created, which effectively extended their lifespans. What the four criminal masterminds did not know was that Maya believed that genetic manipulation and human cloning could be used to create a perfected version of the human species that was superior in strength, speed, reflexes, mental acuity, and who were unburdened by conscience, which he saw as a fatal human flaw. His ultimate goal, however, was to use his research to create an army of flawless and obedient super soldiers that could do his bidding.
You want a raise? I give you a raise.
Kalau tak kena duit, tak apa kau balik sekolah. Mari kita meeting progress.
Agent 47 was created on September 5th, 1964 in Maya's asylum in Romania and had the numbers 640509-040147 tattooed on the back of his head at a young age. 640509 represented the date of his creation. 04 marked the fact that he was part of the fourth generation of clones. 01 meant that he was the first in the series, and 47 signified the fact that he was the 47th clone overall to be created. From the ages of 5 to 7, 47 was quiet and showed little social interaction, but the child began to strangely display affection towards a runaway laboratory rabbit, which he adopted on August 21st, 1970, displeasing Dr. Maya, who'd wanted to eradicate conscience from his subjects. This also ties into the question of morality that's pondered throughout the games, with us attempting to understand whether the agent who was bred for the cold, efficient dispatchment of targets could feel remorse. Along with the other clones, 47 was trained from youth to become a silent assassin, and the boy was instructed in the use of firearms, military hardware, unarmed combat, the use of disguises, and the use of more classical tools of assassination, like the infamous fiber wire and poison. During his training in Romania, he was noted for his exceptional marksmanship, as well as for attacking the asylum staff with homemade slingshots, all of which were promptly confiscated. Along with learning how to use the tools of an assassin, 47 was trained to analyze and adapt to his surroundings when planning an assassination, allowing him to see multiple paths which he could use to eliminate his targets silently and efficiently. It's interesting to consider that while Dr. Ortmeyer had numerous specimens to overlook, he would give 47, whom he saw as his first genetically complete success, more attention than any of the others. I mean, on September 5th, 1989, the doctor even went as far as to remember 47's 25th birthday in his journal, although 47 himself didn't. And in 1993, he'd stated that 47, now almost 30, had passed every test he could think of, and thus had become his most successful clone. I think it's also important to note that the reason 47 and the other clones couldn't remember their birthdays was due to an experimental serum that was used on them to erase their memory, in tandem with additional serums administered to get rid of their emotions. These chemicals actually had adverse effects on the clones, making most of them manically depressed, unstable, and leading to many of them dying of starvation and dehydration. As a result of this additional tampering with the already enhanced clones, most of them actually died before being used as hitmen by the asylum. As his relationship with the staff at the asylum deteriorated over time, 47 would make several attempts to escape the institution across his adolescent and early adult years. After successfully managing to leave in the mid-90s, a few years after Maya had labelled him his greatest success, the International Contract Agency began taking an interest in 47's activities, before finally enrolling him in 2000. Soon after joining the ICA and flawlessly completing a number of missions assigned to him by his handler Diana, 47 was contracted to kill 4 of the criminal masterminds whose DNA was used to create him and the other clones, as seen in the game Hitman codename 47. The ICA eventually found out that the person who'd hired the services of 47 to wipe out the men was none other than Otto Wolfgang Ortmeyer, before the scientists requested one last assignment from them to kill another colleague of his at the asylum. But when the agent arrived there and completed the final leg of his mission, he started to regain the memories of his origin and subsequently killed his final father, along with the SWAT team and clones that were sent to eradicate him. By the time we reach Hitman 2, Silent Assassin, we find that 47 had left his role as a contract killer for a couple of years, under the guidance of Father Vittorio in a Catholic church on the Sicilian countryside, where he now worked as a gardener. Now tasked with creating life from nothing, in contrast to his previous work of taking life away, his new existence showed that 47 was indeed an empathetic man, harkening back to his days as a child who nurtured the laboratory rabbit he'd found in the asylum. This newfound chapter of his life, however, was cut short with the abduction of his mentor, Father Vittorio, by arms dealer Sergei Zavorotko and mafia don Giuseppe Giuliani. In order to rescue the priest, 47 resumed his work as a hitman for the agency, who promised him information on the whereabouts of the criminals involved in exchange for a string of high-profile assassinations. 47 would eventually discover that the person who'd hired him was none other than Sergei himself, who had sought to bring the legend back out of retirement, and after a number of bloody shootouts, the agent manages to rescue Vittorio. While the priest attempted to convince him that he could once again return to a peaceful existence void of any violence, 47 went back to the agency, realizing that the only way to protect himself and the people that he cared about was to be a hitman once again, which he continued to do for the rest of the series.
The client was Belikov. Your location has been compromised.
As a Class 1 type clone, Agent 47 was genetically enhanced in order to perform physical tasks much more efficiently than the average human. To keep his skills in tune, 47 practices combat, shooting, assassination, and stealth skills whenever he was not on assignment. When training to join the ICA itself, the agency had actually hesitated to hire him, as they were worried that Agent 47 could become a potential future threat to the agency itself. His notable skills included, but were not limited to, heightened speed, strength, metabolism, senses, endurance, and reflexes. I'd like to point out that his inhuman metabolism gave him the ability to heal from injuries at an insanely quick rate, and this was explained as being the reason why he barely aged over the years. 47 also has advanced stealth intuition, vehicle proficiency, killer marksmanship, resourcefulness, insane martial arts skills. He's multilingual, proficient in engineering, chemistry, and perhaps his greatest asset would have to be his indomitable will, with the hitman always keeping his composure despite the overwhelming odds he had to face, much like John Wick, aka the Boogeyman, whom I've also covered in the past and will be leaving a link to below. Well, that's all for today, folks. A big thanks to all of you guys who requested we take a look at Agent 47, as featured in the Hitman video game series. Don't forget to hit subscribe and click the notification icon to stay up to date on all my content, and if there's anything else you'd like to request, please don't hesitate to ask. As always, it's been a pleasure. Niyat here with Film and Comics Explained. Thanks for stopping by.